to everyone who is watching us via Vertex. So we are now on day two, and this is plenary theme two, organizational change on mitigating limitations for capacity building. Now, my task is to introduce our plenary speaker. Everyone, Dr. Noor Azizi Mardi is currently the Deputy President of National STEM Association in Malaysia. This association aims to increase interest in STEM subjects with related activities. At the same time, Dr. Azizi also lectures at the University Tan Hussein on Malaysia. Once again, everyone, let us welcome our plenary speaker, Dr. Noor Azizi Mardi. Sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sia. Good afternoon, Professor, colleagues, and guests. And I hope everyone have had a good summit so far in the International Network for Outcome-Based Education, Virtual Summit 2022. Firstly, I would like to thank the Secretariat and the committee for the opportunity today. My name is Azizi and I'm from the National STEM Association of Malaysia, presenting on behalf of Professor Dr. Noraini Idris. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, firstly, on behalf of Prof. Noraini, I would like to apologize on her behalf for not being able to make it to the session today, although she had initially planned earlier for her commitment. I was told that this is due to an emergency situation in her family. So again, on her behalf, I would like to thank the organizers and audience for your kind consideration during this difficult time for her. So I am Dr. Noor Azizi Mardi, as introduced by Thea, currently the Deputy President of National STEM Association in Malaysia. So I've been serving the Deputy President position for the last 2 years. Of course, Prof. Noraini is the founding president and is still the president of National STEM Association, or NSA. I've had the privilege of working together, privilege and honor to work together with Professor Dr. Noraini even before the incorporation of NSA. In the different movements before the incorporation of the association. So can we go to the next slide? Firstly, I would like to say a little bit about where I come from. I am coming from Malaysia. Currently now it's 11 p.m. in the evening, so pardon my situation. So Malaysia is a country located in the Southeast Asia with a population of about 32.5 million. In terms of the geographical size, it is about the size of the state of New Mexico in the States. And geographically, it is comprised of the east part of Malaysia. If you look at the map on the upper right, is the highlighted in the right side. So that is the east part of Malaysia. That shares the borders with Indonesia as well as Philippines and Brunei. And it is located on the Borneo Island in the east. And the west part of Malaysia is the peninsula, which is connected to the greater ASEAN continent. So Malaysia is classified as the middle income country. And where it has, since 1970s, it started as a more agricultural-based country. And since then, Malaysia has been moving steadily towards more manufacturing-focused economy up to today. So Malaysia is known internationally as a major international exporter of electronics as well as semiconductor manufacturing sector. So you look at the picture on the bottom left, that's a picture of a circuit, electrical board, as well as Islamic financial tech and commodities such as rubber and palm oil. So the picture at the bottom middle is the picture of the palm oil plantation. So Malaysia is currently the second largest exporter in the world after Indonesia in terms of the output of palm oil. And the bottom right picture is another major contributor to the GDP of Malaysia, which is the oil and gas industry. So a little bit of, so in terms of the country, we are moving, of course, towards more manufacturing and high-tech, high-value kind of economy. Next. Okay, so I'll start with the problem or the situation that we have at the moment. So remember in the previous slide, I have mentioned about the target of Malaysia to become a high income country. So we realized, the government realized that we need to have more workers, especially related to the STEM areas or STEM career, STEM being science, technology, engineering, and maths. So the current situation, the recent situation in Malaysia is highlighted in these 3 points that I'm sharing on this particular slide. So on the leftmost article is an article from local newspaper in the year 2020. So it is translated only 90% of students choosing science stream in high school. So this was 2 years ago, and the picture shows the picture of our Professor Noraini. So the newspaper requested for her opinion on this particular issue. So very low percentage of students in high school choosing the science stream. So 2 years ago, we had this streaming into science, streaming into arts, but we do not have the streaming anymore. The students nowadays in high school, they can choose from a plethora of different subjects, but of course, we still have the science-related subjects. But whether the students would like to take those subjects is still a matter of question. We still worry about that particular situation. The middle article, a recent ministry report saying that Malaysia annual tertiary education enrollment in STEM-related courses. So STEM-related courses, for example, undergraduate university courses that use science, technology, engineering, or maths, currently standing at about 47%. So this is quite low compared to the target of government, which wants the percentage to be around 60% in order to support our growing economy and the movement towards more high-tech, high-value kind of economy. So this is way behind, way behind the target of 60% set by the government itself. And the last article on the right, this is very recent. This is 1st of August 2022. A hot issue currently being discussed in Malaysia states that 72% of SPM graduates. So SPM is basically year 11 examination. So it is somewhat similar to GCE O levels. So year 11 examination after high school. So majority of them, 72% of them, are not interested to pursue tertiary education, where they prefer, of course, the media would like to sensationalize this and say that they prefer to be influencer and e-hailing drivers. So more of a gig kind of economy. So of course, based on the current economic situation as well, where we see the stagnation of salary, we see the challenges in the job kind of situation. So there are more challenges, not only interest in STEM, but also the job prospects as well. So the problem has gotten more complicated and more difficult. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is the reason why some of us in the community, in the universities, in the schools decided to set up and incorporate this National STEM Association in Malaysia. So formally incorporated in 2018. Before that, we were moving in different forms. We was one time called the STEM movement, but of course, in order to organize better and conduct a more organized activity, we had to incorporate as a non-governmental organization. And the membership among in this association is mostly amongst university lecturers, school teachers, parents, as well as small and medium enterprises and companies. So we have this common mission, the common mission and goal, where we want to see and we want to help to increase the interest among students, among not only elementary as well as high school, but also from pre-kindergarten, preschool, and even up to university level to increase the interest into STEM. That's the first mission. Second mission is to supplement teaching and learning. So of course, teaching and learning of STEM related subject in school, they are doing okay, but of course we would like to introduce, especially in new approaches, new innovative approaches of teaching STEM related subject in schools. We would like to talk together, work together with teachers at school to improve and work on the delivery method of the STEM related subject so that the students will have a more increased interest and they perform better and they have a better grasp in the STEM subject. And the third mission is to increase dialogue and advocacy for education, especially related to STEM. So that is where you see our President, Prof. Noraini, quite active in the media, trying to highlight the issue of this interest in STEM subject among students, as well as try to advocate for a better environment so that more students, more high school leavers will choose STEM-related careers in their future. Next slide, please. Thank you, Tia. So in order to achieve this objective, we try to plan several activities. One of the flagship program under NSA is called the Mini Theaters STEM. So this is our flagship program. We initiated, I think, the earliest was around 2018. So in this program, this is a 3-year flagship program. Where the students, if you look at the green arrow, the students selected in this program are selected from students that are coming from low-income background. So low income, so not only we try to bridge the gap in interest in STEM subject, but we also try to look into the socio-economic condition of the family of the students. So in the first year of the program, the students or the participants are being coached to come up and produce new innovative product or solutions. So how this is implemented is that we employ mentors as well as a teacher, and we try to conduct sessions where the students brainstorm the problem that they have in hand and try to implement whatever scientific methodologies or concepts that they have learned in class, as well as new technologies or concepts that are available out there so that they can explore and come up with some good solution, good products, so that they'll be able to be commercialized in the third year of the program. So that is in the first year. Also at the end of the first year, we ask the participants to present the product in a way of a theoretical presentation or play. So we get one hall and we group the students together and we ask them to present their findings in a very interesting kind of theoretical play, highlighting the innovative product they have come up with, as well as the underlying scientific principles behind the product or innovation. In the second year, they have to come up or from the, so for example, let's say we start with 100 students. In the second year, a smaller pool selected from this 100 students, let's say 70% of the initial participant in year one, they are selected and they are being asked to come up with improve the product as well as to develop business proposal or business plan. So for the second year, we also try to match or search for potential investor for the product that have been developed. And the kinds of mentor in the second year, it's not mostly, well, some of it is still have some scientific STEM background, but also we try to introduce some entrepreneurial or business expert or business mentors, so that they can come up with good business proposal. So this is in the second year. In the third year, we expect them to start their business, or they can also become trainee in companies. And finally, we want them to further studies at the university level, at the tertiary level, or any avenues that they think they would like to go into. So with this whole spectrum from starting from year 1 until year 3, we hope that it will be able to increase the interest of STEM subject among high school children. Secondly, the second objective is to improve the soft skills such as communication, making presentation. So remember, at the end of first year, they have to make a play. So we want the participant to improve, to have confidence, to be able to do public speaking, for example. And thirdly, the third objective is to also increase the entrepreneurial aptitude among the participants, with hopes that the program may eventually improves their perseverance, their grit, so that they'll be able to change the family fortunes maybe, and move up from the low-income family status. So that's the whole idea of this, our flagship program, the Mini Theatre STEM program. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just a snapshot of some of the activities in this flagship Mini Theatre program. So if you look at the picture on the left, so this is just a snapshot of the activities that they do when they are trying to develop the product. So they do a little bit of experimentation. So for example, they want to come up with a new solution or new soap, for example. They have to come up, or they have to implement scientific principles. They have to come up with hypotheses, for example. How do you optimize the product so that the output will be the best? So they apply the scientific principle. We try to coach them in terms of the scientific principle and mathematics behind it, for example, and they do it in their own school, at their own school. Of course, in the middle, guided by mentors. And at the end of the first year, they have to come up with the theoretical play of their innovation, and also explain in a fun way what is the underlying scientific principle, why they come up with it, why have they arrived at the final formulation of the product, for example. So it's a kind of trying to achieve different aspect, not only scientific or STEM aspect, but also in terms of their confidence, their soft skill, and also their entrepreneurial spirit. So that's we're very happy, we're very proud of this flagship program. Next slide, please. Okay, some success story in 2019. Of course, in the pre-pandemic world, the students participated and staged 10 theatre plays, 10 prototypes developed, and we also send some of the selected good products to international competition, innovation competition. So in Malaysia, we usually have a couple of these innovation competition held at the national level. So we send the students to this competition, and we truly see the difference. We get testimonial from the teachers, the transformation that the students go through when they first initially started the program, and at the end of the year, at the end of the program. So we see the marked improvement in terms of the ability and capability of the students, and we see them to be more confident and able. If you look at the picture in the middle, the one with the student that is wearing the chef hat, so he's currently he is actually presenting the innovation to international judges. So we see a marked improvement in terms of their confidence and their abilities. So very good review, and yeah, so that's why we want to continue this flagship program. Next slide, please. And in 2020, of course, again, pre-pandemic world, so we try to push the students to commercialize the product. So some of the products, a couple of products were sold online on online platforms, and was available locally in Malaysia, and so that is one of the output, the KPI that was given to us when we initially proposed this flagship program. So we are very happy with some of the success story out of this flagship program. Next, please. So I'm trying to coming back to the topic of the presentation, overcoming limitation. So the limitation that we see, that we saw in implementing this program, this flagship program, as well as other programs, is basically in many aspects, in terms of budget, in terms of manpower, in terms of support, in terms of legalities. So there's lots of limitation and hindrance in implementing this program. But of course, in order to overcome this limitation in capacity building of these school children, we saw, or of course, obviously, we need to increase networking and collaboration with other institutions. So we cannot do everything by ourselves. And working with similarly minded people, the teachers, lecturers, parents, school administrators, companies, and industry. So we try to go back to the initial motivation that we, all of us share, which is we want our student, the younger generation, to really have passion to STEM subjects. So that is our common rallying call. And overcoming limitation number 3, to request the support from local state government. So sometimes the national government may not be able to cater for everything, but of course we try to find whatever support that we may get from the local state government as well. Next slide, please. So with the limitation, with the success of the program, we first roll out the first batch in the Selangor state in Malaysia. Excuse me. So first batch was rolled out in the Selangor state, and we have been able to roll out in the second state in Kelantan, and the third state in Kedah. So the Kedah, excuse me, the third stage was initiated in this year, 2022. So we got the support. We presented the proposal to the local state government, and we were able to get their support. They shared the same vision for their students, and hopefully we can expand this particular program to other states as well in the near future. So started with the first batch in 2018, second batch in 2021, and starting third batch in 2022. Next slide. Okay. Because of the growing reputation and network, we were able to initiate our next project, which is called the STEM Mentor-Mentee project. So this is a more conventional mentoring, STEM mentoring project. I think everybody is doing this, not only our association, but everybody is doing this. So, but of course, because of the network that we obtained initially in our flagship project, we were able to propose this mentoring project. And of course, we'll try to get participation from other people as well. So with this mentoring project, if you look at the bottom, that was the KPI that we were able to obtain, where we were able to get the participation from mentors coming from 9 universities in Malaysia, 21 schools, 329 mentors, and the final participant, the students, we were able to touch or to able to get the participation of almost more than 1,200 students, mentees, in this particular mentoring project. So for both elementary school as well as a high school. So this is, of course, again, I would like to mention because of the growing reputation that the association has managed to get. We were able to get this and kickstart another mentoring project. Next slide. Okay, besides that, other activities that we do, especially during the pandemic time, I think was in 2020, and also 2021, we were limited in terms of the activity that we will be able to do. So most of our activities were limited to virtual activities. So we had STEM career talks. So on the leftmost picture is one of the big Malaysian companies that is in the dairy industry. So they also highlighted the need for STEM related career in his company. We also had webinars on STEM subjects. So for example, the second left picture is chemistry is fun webinar that we had during the lockdown period, lockdown time. We also have periodically a webinar on new technologies just to get the students exposed and familiar with the different new technologies, for example, on game making course, on drone, etc. And finally, we also give a general career guidance, especially for high school leavers, so that they'll be able to guess, they'll be able to get some sort of direction after finishing high school. Of course, one of the most common feedback that we always get from students after finishing high school is when they decide the career or when they decide the course they would like to go for higher education, for example, many of them are asking their fellow friends, what are they doing? So we realize that we need to also get the input from career counselors, so that not only for students but also for parents, so that they will be able to make a more informed and better decision for the future direction. So these are some of the activities that we do. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is my final slide. So we, at the organization, at the association, we realized that with all the limitation that we have, the limited capability that we have, we see that the only way forward to move this agenda is to have more collaborations. So this picture shows some of the institutions that we have we had collaborated and still collaborating in at the moment. As I've mentioned, we are collaborating with a local government, local states government. We are collaborating with local universities and colleges. We are collaborating with official government agency and ministry. For example, at the top we have the Talent Corp. So Talent Corp is one of the agency that is responsible to plan or to give a report in terms of the job outlook, specifically for Malaysia. And Academic Science Malaysia, we also have previous engagements with them, as well as the different companies. So companies are also interested to join us and conduct talks and seminar, because they are also seeing not only the big company, the small companies as well, the small medium enterprises company as well. They are also sometimes, especially in Malaysia, sometimes they are seeing a little bit of difficulty to find good employees, especially that job position that needs the application of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So that is why they are also on board with this mission and vision. And hopefully, with more collaboration, we'll be able to at least help, if not solve, but if not solve the problem, but at least help in the right direction. So that's the whole mission and vision of our association. So with that, thank you very much. That is all for the talk from my side, of course, on behalf of Prof. Noraini. So we are on Facebook. So if you just search for National STEM Association of Malaysia, we are on Facebook if you are interested to connect and to collaborate. Thank you very much, and back to you, Thea.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Noor, Azizi Mardi, for gracing us with your presence for this plenary. I'd like to say a few things about the presentation. I actually really like it. It's good to see how a group of educators, you are, I don't know if we could say you non-governmental organizations, but it's really good to see you being proactive in helping your government reach its target, which is, as you mentioned earlier, make your country a high earning, was it a high earning? Yes, or a high income region. It is also really interesting to see different contexts, different realities from different countries. And I'm pretty sure our audiences here were also delighted to see these initiatives of yours, and perhaps they would also want to benchmark your programs and your projects. I especially liked the idea that you put so much emphasis on developing innovative processes among young learners, because in such a way you really capacitate them to come up with potential and really good outputs and projects. So I think in the long run that can really help boost the STEM workforce of your country, or your region. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Noor. Unfortunately, I think for this plenary, we are not allowed to entertain questions and answers from our audiences. So as Dr. Noor mentioned earlier, if you wanted to contact them, I think they have a website, if I'm not mistaken, sir. Your national STEM
website as well. I think we are on Facebook as well. So just search for National STEM Association Malaysia. You'll be able to find us, and we'll be able to connect.
Yes, that's a great way to find network, especially that their program is really good. Well, I think since we are done with the presentation of our plenary speaker, this is where we conclude our session.